Good morning, everybody. Or should I say good afternoon if you're hearing this in the afternoon. I'm Christy Diaz, and we're here at the Heart to Heart podcast. And today we are going beyond the Pastelitos. I'd like to welcome Betty Williams to the show, or AKA for most of Miami, as you guys know her as Betty Pastelitos. Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
Good.
With our Miami 2 degree of separation or less, we have so many people in common.
Yes. How did that happen?
I mean, typical Miami, right?
Yes.
But I want to thank you so much for coming out today because I've been following your work for quite some time now.
Awesome.
You've always made me laugh. When I was traveling in Singapore and you reposted a picture of mine that I was comparing our Cuban arroz con pollo to the Singaporean one that they gave me, I'm like, I've made it because Betty Pastelitos has reposted my pictures.
Aw,
thank you so much.
Thank you for thinking of me in Singapore.
Always. So why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Okay, so I am Betty Williams, like you said, Betty Pastelitos. I am first, before anything, a mom of 3, navigating that.
Yeah.
It's very hard.
Yeah.
And I'm a wife and a UM graduate like you,
Right.
Go Canes.
Yep.
And I am an educator and a content creator. That's kind of like me in a nutshell.
Right.
I am a special education teacher because I have an older brother with Down syndrome, which I know we're going to get into that, but
Yeah.
he kind of inspired that. I am the youngest of 6.
Wow.
Actually, technically 9. I always, not forget, but I always say the youngest of 6 because we're the ones here that we're the closest, but I also have 3 sisters in Argentina. And I am the daughter of immigrants. I think that's
a wonderful intro.
But I think that's like the big part of what makes me me.
And part of the reason why I wanted you to be the one to introduce yourself and not me just rattle off a list of what you do is because a lot of people see you on Instagram or whatever reel, and they think you're just the funny girl from Miami that's always right on in their sketches. But you're so much more than that, Betty.
Thank you.
And when I dug deep into your story and I heard where you came from and the fact that you are a special ed teacher, I said, you know what? She lives and embodies heartful living because not only do you make people laugh, but you do so much good in the world.
Thank you.
And then I came across your workbooks and I thought, this woman is brilliant. She's doing exactly what I've always thought of, which is, these little worksheets and books and the Spanish speaking ones are the ones that I found first. And I go, oh, this is, ideal scenario. Why hadn't anybody done this before?
Thank you.
So I want to start from the beginning.
Okay.
Because today you may see Betty Pastelitos on your Instagram and all your social media and you laugh. But I want you guys to get to know Betty Williams today and leave the pastelitos behind, which is why we are going beyond the pastelitos.
Okay. Love that.
Okay.
Love that.
So a lot of people don't know because you come off as such a Miami Cuban girl that you are half-Z. You are also half Argentinian.
Yeah. So my mom is Cuban and my dad is from Argentina. But I was raised in Westchester. The childcare that I went to until I was 5 years old was like super Cuban in the middle of not Little Havana, but like that area getting to Little Havana. I was raised around my Cuban family. Unfortunately, fortunately for them because Argentina is a beautiful country, but my dad's whole family's in Argentina. So really the only Argentinian influence that I had growing up was just my dad in the house. And it's funny because I don't really hear his accent. Everybody hears it, and they tell me, like, your dad has a really strong accent, and I don't really hear it. So the only really Argentinian upbringing I had was maybe the foods, maybe some of the words, because I still use some words that are just very particular to Argentina that Cubans don't use.
Sure.
And I am very familiar with the food, and I will defend the food of Argentina in the sense of, like...
Delish.
Argentinian empanadas are better than all the other ones. Alfajores are from Argentina. Milanesa is an Argentinian food. Some proteins are better with mashed potatoes than with rice.
Right.
So I have those like Argentinian quirks. I did visit Argentina for the first time when I was 18 and I met some of my family for the first time. But unfortunately, I never got to meet my grandparents.
Oh.
I never got to meet my uncles, any of my aunts. So when you meet me and you see me, I'm like, I embody like una cubana loca, una guajira loca, but part of me is also Argentinian. And
Right.
I also look like physically, my features, if you see my family, there's times that my oldest sister in Argentina will post like a throwback picture of herself, and I'm scrolling on Instagram and I think it's me.
Yeah,
like
'cause
I'll
the
be
genes
like,
are strong.
I'll be like, oh my God, like who posted this picture of me? But it's
Right.
her. So
Do you pull physically then to a lot of your dad's side of the
oh
family?
yeah, 100%. If you see my dad, if you see my sisters, like it's 100%.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So your
yeah.
dad at this point, is he Cubanized?
So he jokes about it, and he
Yeah.
jokes that he can go to Cuba and he knows his way around, even
Oh,
though
how
he's never
funny.
been.
Yeah.
And he makes jokes about like arroz y frijoles otra vez. Like he makes
Cute.
those things, but yeah, I mean things like he doesn't really have anybody to drink mate with in the morning.
Right.
Right. My mom makes the coffee, so he's gonna drink the coffee. But if you go over and you ask him for a mate, he'll prepare it for you.
Ay.
Yeah.
So clearly, growing up in Westchester and growing up a Miami girl, it's no joke, I think, and no secret that if you grow up in Miami, it just sticks to you.
Yeah. I mean, I have one of my best friends is Ecuadorian and French. But she jokes that she's Cuban.
Right.
So,
So, but you didn't marry a Cuban.
no,
You expanded the horizons.
I did.
So tell us about that, and that further influence into your family.
Yeah, so I married a Dominican, and now I joke because sometimes when I speak Spanish to somebody, now a lot in the last 4 or 5 years, I get a lot asked, am I Puerto Rican? And so my joke is like with my accent and then in Spanish. And then my joke is, no, I'm Cuban. I married a Dominican. So the Cuban Dominican accent made a Puerto Rican one.
I love that.
Yeah, so that's like my
so
joke
good.
because I get that a lot. Like,
Yeah.
I don't even get asked anymore, like, are you Cuban? Somebody who doesn't know me or whatever, if I
Yeah.
just speak Spanish. When I visit DR with my husband's family, I get asked, are you Puerto Rican?
Of course.
Which is a little bit of a compliment because I'm like the biggest Bad Bunny fan. I'm like, no, but
No, but Benito's my cousin.
yes, I wish. So it's funny because now I do have that in Spanish. Like I'll say the Dominican words, I'll say Cuban
Right.
words, I'll say Argentinian words.
Right.
Which is something that's so beautiful about the Spanish language. That it's one language, but for one object, there's so many ways to say it.
Exactly.
So now I have 3 ways of saying it.
I love that.
So I guess I never thought of this till now, but in Spanish, I'm trilingual because I have like the 3.
I didn't think of that.
Me either until literally right now.
I
But that's
Stamp
the cool
that.
thing.
That's
of,
your next
yeah,
workbook.
Yeah, trilingual Spanish. Yeah.
That's actually a great idea for your next workbook is
Yeah.
you have one cup, but all the different ways people say it.
Yeah.
Because one of the things that my son really struggles with in Spanish class is like, what was the word the other for glasses? No espejuelo, sino anteojos.
Yeah.
So he's
Anteojos.
like, what are anteojos? I
Yeah,
go, niño,
anteojos.
espejuelo.
Yeah,
He goes, yeah, but why not just say espejuelo?
Yeah.
So-
yeah, and then also there's the whole there's some words in Dominican that's a bad word in Argentina.
Yes.
So
yes.
that
I know
also
that one.
is, yeah.
Yeah. And for me, forever, my grandmother instilled in me that fruta bomba is fruta
Yeah.
bomba, and you don't say it any other way.
Yeah, well, Dominicans say lechosa.
There you go.
So it's
Yeah.
it's all different ways to say
Yeah.
it.
And I think that's the beauty of Miami.
Oh, yeah.
And
Yes, that's the
you
thing I
miss
love
it
about
when you
Miami.
leave Miami,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
I agree. So, you total homegrown girl because you were born and raised, and then you went all the way to UM,
Yeah.
which was right down the street.
Well, that's another secret about me that if you know me, you know this about me.
Okay.
But I actually left FSU for 2 years.
Escondida.
Hated it. I had a horrible experience.
Oh no.
And came right back to UM.
Smart.
And I graduated from UM. So even when it's like the FSU UM games, that to me is so personal and like so emotional. The FSU UM game for me is like really emotional.
Really?
Because of the experience that I had in FSU. And I went in super excited. I was super excited to go to FSU. I was super excited to be in Tallahassee. Now, at this point in my life, when I really reflect back, like, what went wrong? Like,
Right.
what went so wrong? Part of it was I was coming out of a very traumatic situation, something I went through in high school, had just, I guess, finished when I started FSU. So I had not addressed that trauma. And then the other part was my parents were not supportive at all
About you leaving home.
About me leaving home, and they made it very well known, and they made it very difficult. They didn't even move me up. Like, I moved up by myself.
Wow, Betty, that's big.
So, yeah, so...
Is this your typical Latino family que te quedas en la casa until you get married? And how did you bypass that?
I just went, and I was very like, no, this is something I want. This is something I want. This is something I want. And another part of it was, I was a big nerd in high school. Like, I was a big book nerd. I was a big, like... It's just academics is like a very strong skill for me. Mm-hmm. So I got into a lot of universities, and my dream school was actually Penn State that I got into.
Wow.
And I even got invited to visit it. They were going to pay for the weekend for me to visit it. I got in high school, I got a scholarship from the Bill Gates Foundation. So I had all of school paid for, like books, housing, food, like everything. I had a full ride. And so I could have gone anywhere. And my parents guilted me so much that I was like, okay, I'll stay in state, but go to FSU. Wow. So then I always had that thing of like, what if I was in Penn State? Why didn't I go to Penn State? That was my dream school. My oldest brother and my uncle both went to Penn State as well.
Wow.
So it was kind of this thing of like, I want to go to Penn State. And then I pleased my parents by going to FSU, but that still wasn't good enough for them.
Were you upset about the double standard? That the men in the family were able to go, but not
you. I never thought of it, but maybe that was like something that was, like embedded in me.
Yeah.
My older sister, she went to UM, and then she went to UF for college, for med school, and then she went to Utah for her fellowship. No, then she went to North Carolina for her residency, and then Utah. So she went to a lot of different places. Wow. But she's kind of like the black sheep middle child, where she's like, that stuff was not going to bother her. So she was a little stronger in that sense of like, you don't want to come visit me? Oh, well, like, here's my address. Here's where I am. But for me, I don't know. It was a little bit harder to accept
Have you
that.
made your peace with not having gone away, with that guilt that your parents put in you?
No, because it's good that you asked me that, because I still have this itch. I've always wanted to get my doctorate. I still haven't gotten it, but I got my master's, and I haven't gotten over that itch because I still want to leave.
Yeah.
And me and my husband talk a lot about, like, if we were to go live somewhere else, where would we go? But I still have that fear, and I've never made that move because I'm like, what's going to happen this time if I'm, like, when I was in FSU, I got shingles from the stress.
Let's talk about that because... So for those of you who really don't know what shingles is, it's part 2 of the chicken pox. And nowadays, you're not going to see it in kids because they're all vaccinated for the chicken pox.
Yeah.
But yours and my generation, which we all had chicken pox, let's talk about, I've had shingles 3 times. And I don't know anybody else and we didn't know this coming into the room.
Literally right now.
Right now. I don't know anybody in my generation, our age,
that has had shingles.
That's had shingles. You think about it as the old people thing.
The old people thing.
Culebria.
Yeah. So I got shingles when I was 20 because literally every day around sundown, I would have a panic attack, like a full-blown panic attack.
Really?
Every day I would start, like, as soon as the sun would start setting, I would start sobbing. I would start panicking. I would start shaking about anxiety, about doom, about, like... And I would just be so scared. I was very scared to be home alone when I was in FSU my second year.
Wow.
I couldn't sleep in my room because I was scared that somebody was going to break in and kill me. And if I was in the living room, I could catch it quicker. So I literally slept in the couch.
Your mind just...
For a whole year, I didn't sleep in my bed. For a whole year, I slept on the couch because if somebody came in to murder me, I could catch them quicker if I was on the couch. It was really bad. I couldn't shower if I was home alone. Like, I had to have my roommate there if I was going to shower. Like, I wouldn't shower if somebody wasn't in the house. Somebody that I knew, obviously. So all of that stress led to me getting shingles. And it was out of the stress. And I would call my mom every day at sundown crying and crying and crying. And she would, like, comfort me. And I think in a way it was her way of, like, I don't know. I think she was, like, happy to, like, comfort me. Like, but you're okay type of thing. And one day when I was doing my daily call to her, my dad picked up and he was like, no llames otra vez con esta, you're stressing out your mom, blah, 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 blah. I hung up on me. And I went into full-blown...
Is that when the shingles came out?
Panic. I don't remember, like, the exact timeline. And another one of my stressors was medication. I never, for a good, like, 7 years, I was too scared to take anything. Anything. Tylenol for a headache, I was scared to take medicine, Pepto-Bismol for like anything.
Really?
And when they prescribed me my medication, like, you need to take this.
Right.
And my sister was in med school residency at the time. I had to, like, beg her, like, please, are you sure that the pharmacist didn't spike my medication?
Oh, my goodness.
She's like, the pharmacist does not care about you.
Wow.
So, unfortunately, I wasn't able to take the pain meds because I would take them and immediately throw them up because of the anxiety. But I did take, like, the shingles medication, whatever.
The Valtrex.
Whatever it was.
Which is like a horse-sized tranquilizer, a blue pill this big.
I don't even remember.
I do because I've had it 3 times.
So, yeah, after that, I was like, I need to go back home. So imagine now thinking about, like, I am dying to move away and get a doctorate, but what if I go through that again? And now I have 3 kids. How am I supposed to deal with them? But, like, my life now is 360 who I was when I was 20. So I keep reminding myself, like, you're in a different place. You have so much support. Like, that's not going to happen to you. You're going to catch it quicker. You have therapy. You have everything. Like, you have a way more packed toolbox than you did when you were 20.
Right. I'm so grateful that you brought this up because, we're meeting for the first time actually in person.
Yeah.
And we didn't even touch upon all of these challenges that you had medically, which I've had too. And we'll have to talk about them together at another point. But the fact that you're opening up and sharing this, because what I like to do here is break taboos.
Yeah.
And that's one that people do not talk about.
Yeah.
At all. It's okay to get
I'm an open
scared.
book, I've told you.
Me too. I am too. Going away for the first time for a Miami girl and leaving that bubble is so scary for so many reasons. And if you have parents, Hispanic, strong-headed parents, que la niña se tiene que quedar en la casa, it's hard.
Yeah. And that's part of my story too. The first time I realized that I'm Latina, that I'm Hispanic, the first time I embraced it, the first time I realized, like, wow, this is such a cool culture I'm part of, was when I went to FSU. That was the first time I noticed, and, like, I had such a culture shock.
Right.
I remember walking into a class and there was girls with their bags on the floor. And I was like, oh, like, that to me was like, first of all, ew. Second of all, like, that's such bad luck. What are you guys doing?
Right.
And that just, like, started this whole chain of, like, where am I?
That is crazy. So by the time you got back to Miami, first of all, so you did 2 years at FSU. I'm assuming you were working on just your core subjects.
Yeah, so remember I was a big nerd, so I did do a lot of AP classes. So I did already start, I was able to start taking classes of my bachelor's, like, already from my first year. So I guess we could jump back into where we thought we were going to take this conversation.
Let's talk about it, because you studied 2 different things that don't even...
Yeah.
I don't know how you miraculously kind of merged them mysteriously and magically, but you did.
Yeah.
So let's talk about it.
Yeah. So when I started school and all my life, I always knew I wanted to be either on television in this media world or an educator. Like I said, my older brother has Down syndrome. He's 2 years older than me. We are the youngest of 6. Like I said, he's number 5, I'm number 6. But I always, like, he was my little buddy growing up.
You're the baby.
Yes.
And your 3 older sisters in Argentina are much, much older?
Well, I have 2 sisters here and 3 sisters in Argentina.
And you're the baby of everybody?
I'm the baby of the 9.
And you wonder why they didn't want you to leave the house.
I know.
If you're looking for a dental experience rooted in comfort, trust, and caring for the whole person, not just the teeth, Nuvo Dental Arts is worth knowing about. Their approach to modern dentistry is thoughtful, welcoming, and deeply patient-centered. It's dentistry with heart, right here in Miami. Visit Dr. Adrian Gonzalez, a trusted partner of the Heartful Living community. Now, back to the conversation.
And there was a lot of guilt of, like, leaving my brother behind.
Was there?
Oh, yeah. I remember my first night in FSU, he texted me and he said, Mom is crying because she misses you. That killed me.
Did he miss you?
Of course. Of course. So when I started school, I still wasn't sure if I wanted to go the education route or the media route. And like you said, those are, like, 2 completely different things. And at the time, social media wasn't a thing the way that it is now. You would just upload, like, 50 pictures into a Facebook album, if that. Because I think there was still MySpace when I started college. This was 2008.
There was, for sure. There had to have been.
Yeah. So I didn't know if I wanted to go more the education route or the media route. So I started taking classes in both. And my education classes, my child development classes, my child psychology classes, I wouldn't even take notes. Like, I would literally just sit there and absorb everything, like, literally enthralled. Like, oh, that's so cool. Oh, yeah, kids do that. Wow, cool. Like, I wouldn't even take notes. And I would ace my tests. I remember I would get a 99%, and I would sit there and think of, like, I remember there was one test, I think it was a final, and I got, like, a 98%. And I'm going through all the questions in my head, like, which one did I get wrong? That I didn't get 100%.
Right.
And I was like, I think it was the one about Piaget. Like, I would literally go through my mind and be like, what was it?
Right.
And it wasn't like now where all the tests are on the computer and you can go back and it'll tell you.
We're going to have to, you and I, sit down and talk about education today at another session, because that's another can of worms I would love to get into with you as well.
I have TED Talks about that. So, and then for my media classes, like, I would sit there, I would make flashcards, I would take notes, I would read the material over and over, and I would get B's, C's, and it was, like, hard.
Right.
I remember for my advertising class, I don't know why, I just never understood it, and it would never stick. Like, and the information was just, like, and I would be repeating it over and over, and I'm just like, I don't get it. I remember the one class that I did do well, but that's because the way that the professor structured it was PR. So the PR class I did do very well in, because it was like, it was just the way that the class was structured. I did pretty well. But my media classes was like pulling teeth. So after like the second semester maybe, I was like, well, I guess I'm destined to be a teacher, because it comes to me so easy.
Right.
And I would like sign up to do like community service stuff in the realm of like, we would, you could do community service hours of like going to like this media event or whatever. Right. And I always felt very out of place. I always felt very awkward. I didn't know how to talk to the people around me.
But when you would go do your field hours,
it was like I belonged there.
Right.
So,
did you go to West Lab next door?
Yes, of course. I did do hours there. So I was like, okay, well, I'm destined to be an educator as well, I guess. So I did the education route. Through my classes that I would pick as like electives, I got a minor in psychology without even realizing it.
In Flipsy?
Yes, in Flipsy. And so I graduated with my degree in education. I went into education, and I love it. Like, I truly love special education. I love child development. It's just something that I am passionate about.
Of course.
But
you did dream about being...
And I still always had that, like, but
on
what if I
Sesame Street, you said.
Yes.
And big comfy couch.
Yeah, so my dream was, so I always still had that, like, but what if I would have just done the journalism route? And I would look up journalism jobs. And I would look up, like, well, what if somebody's hiring that I can... And my dream was always to be on Sesame Street. I've applied to Sesame Street jobs like 3 times.
Really?
Yes, because I still dream of working for Sesame Street.
Aww.
I love that kind of like teaching kids. And then I realized like, wow, something that really, really appeals to me is teaching kids through TV. Right? Like being able to reach a large audience. I was always fascinated by how they come up with scripts for shows like Dragon Tales, for shows like Arthur. Like that has always fascinated me. Right. And actually, in college, I had a professor that worked on Sesame Street to help develop a puppet. She was a linguist, and she had her PhD in linguistics, and they reached out to her to help her develop a Hispanic puppet. And, like, how to make it correct and how to, like, do it correctly and, you know, like, not cheesy and, like, wearing a sombrero. Like, that's not, you know.
Do you happen to know which Muppet it is on Plaza Sésamo?
I don't. It wasn't, like, Rosita, which is, like, the main one that we see. I don't know which one it was.
That's very cool.
Yeah, so I was like, that is so cool. I would love to help develop, like, scripts and topics and dialogue. That is such a cool job. So, but I was still in my education route. After teaching for 3 years, I worked for for 5 years. For 5.5, 6 years. We developed a curriculum to help teachers learn how to teach kids with special needs.
I think that's amazing.
A general education setting. And through that, it was a grant through the Department of Education. Part of that program was developing videos for teachers. And then when they were like, oh, we're going to have to hire an actress, like finding the budget, whatever, I was like, I'll do it. Me. So that project that I worked on, they have a whole YouTube channel, and I'm like the talking head. And I loved that.
I'm sure you
loved
did.
that aspect of like being able to develop a script, say, read it off the teleprompter. I loved that. And yeah, sometime around a little bit before COVID, I started to dip my toes into like the world of like, once social media started getting bigger and I started getting inspired by people like Jenny Lorenzo, the Cuban abuela, I started to say like, oh my God, she's using her Miami accent. Because that was another thing that I completely forgot to say when I started my journalism thing and when I started taking classes. I had somebody tell me, you're never going to make it in the media world with a Miami accent. And now that's literally what I'm doing. I'm making it in the media world with my Miami accent.
You're making lemonade.
Yes.
With your Miami accent.
Yes. So that's another reason why I was like, well, then I guess I got to be a teacher. So I started dipping my toes in the whole like social media, making funny videos here, making funny videos there. And one thing led to another. And now I am the funny girl on social media. I'm using my degree and my talent and my expertise in education to also put things out in the world. And
that's how you married media and education.
Yep.
So what moment did you have that made you viral?
So it had nothing to do with education at all. Like kind of how you mentioned, like I have this expertise in education, but people just see me as like the funny fun girl.
Yeah.
My first like really viral video was during COVID. I did a video of the teacher pretending to call out names in 2025, which we're here now. Like all the COVID babies are going to kindergarten now. And I was like pretending to read off the list of like babies entering kindergarten 5 years from now.
Yeah.
It's going to be like Gobi Lacey. And
I love that.
yeah, so I was like using like these words that were big back then, like toilet paper. I forgot what I said. Like I had to go back and look at it. I think it was like Charming Miguel or something like that. Like so I came up with all these names.
I love it.
Yeah. And then that video like blew up. And then I was never really consistent. My mental health had a lot to do with it too. So I used to take like big mental health breaks during the holidays off of social media. So I would be off of social media pretty much from like November 1st through like January.
Good for you.
Yeah. And so I was never consistent with it. So I would like every now and then put out a video, it would like go viral. But it wasn't like that I was like, I would literally just do it for fun. Like I would think of something funny, I would make the video, I would go on, I'd post it and ha ha ha, and then like whatever, forget about it for a little bit. And then I was doing it for fun. And then when I went back to the classroom that I started teaching again, I thought of a funny teacher one. I think it was the career day in Miami.
That one was hilarious.
Yes. So
I loved that one.
I did that one, and that one blew up.
Yeah.
And from there, I was like, let me start making more funny teacher things. So then I did like, I don't know, like PTA parents in Miami, be like, or something like that. And I want to mention, I always write, if you notice in my videos, I always put like whatever the topic's going to be. Like the latest one was like kids being late and like the excuses of kids being late. I always write Latina edition, because something we have to remember about Miami or Miami-Dade County is that it runs from Homestead all the way to North Miami.
Fact.
And we're in our Latino community space, but there is huge Jewish communities, there's
100%.
huge Black communities, and in the Black communities there's Jamaican, there's Bahamian, there's American. So
well noted.
I started making sure that I addressed like Miami girls, the Latinas, like the Latina version. And of course there's always going to be a hater, because then one day somebody was commenting like, people forget that Miami's not just Cubans, and I'm like, oh my God, I know. That's why, so not even putting the Latina thing, like somebody had to pick on the fact that like not every Latino's Cuban, and it's like, okay, if you don't like it, just scroll, I don't care.
Yeah, well, people, unfortunately,
there's always going to be nitpickers.
There's always going to be a
But
hater.
my videos are for somebody, and if they're for you, watch it. If they're not for you, don't.
They were for me.
Yeah. Good.
So when you went back to teach again after UM, did you fall straight back into the special education?
So when I went to teach at UM, I was always back and forth, like, what kind of teacher do I want to be? And then I was like, let me take my education classes and also get the minor in special education. When I went to go ask my advisor about like the special ed minor, she was like, you have a minor in psychology? I was like, I do. So I minored in special education. My first teaching job was general ed. And then I went to another school where I had general ed, but I had told them, like, look, I really love special ed. And so they gave me the students with IEPs. So it was like an inclusive setting. And then when I left that teaching job that I went to UM, it was like a special ed focus. We were teaching teachers how to work with kids with special needs in their classrooms, how to use assistive technologies. And then, special ed has always been around me. And then I took 2 years. I was at home. That's when I was developing my workbooks. I was helping different hotels in Miami Beach run their kids clubs.
Let's talk about the workbooks.
Okay.
You developed these worksheets, and eventually they became a book. And you self-published them.
Yes.
And a lot of people don't know that.
Yes.
Brillando with Betty are worksheets and workbooks for kids ages what?
So my workbooks are more like the early elementary ages, kinder through third-ish, depending on the child's abilities and needs. So I developed my workbooks because when I started teaching in the public schools here, they're like, oh, you speak Spanish? You're also a Spanish teacher now. And I'm like, that's not how it works.
Yeah.
Just because you speak English doesn't mean you could teach English. Like,
I've noticed that too.
so I'm like, okay, that's not. So they handed me the curriculum, and I'm looking at the curriculum, and I'm like, this does not make sense. So if your child is a second grader, they were expected to read like second grade comprehension and like do second grade material as if they were like a second grader in Spain. Now, I don't know if you've noticed, but as a Spanish speaker, and this is like a phenomenon, right? I don't know what this is called. I'm sure I learned it in my linguistics class. But we grew up with our abuelos. We grew up speaking and hearing Spanish. We are completely fluent. We can read, speak in Spanish, but we don't read and write in Spanish as well as we speak and hear. I am completely fluent. I can go right now on Telemundo and give a whole, but the reading and writing part is
Correct.
not. It wasn't until my job at UM. So at my job at UM, part of the grant was that we were going to develop all material in English and Spanish. Oh. So when I started working at UM is when I started, and they were like, okay, now we have to translate the documents, whatever. I was like, how do you say early literacy in Spanish? How do you say alphabets? Now I can't even say it in English and Spanish. But how do you say phonemic awareness? How do you say?
Oh my goodness!
So
Can't
all
even
these
say it in
things
English.
that I was like,
Yeah.
wait, what? So that's when I started learning a lot of academic Spanish. So yes, we are 100%. I am not going to take that away from anybody. We are 100% fluent in Spanish, but not the academic part of it. Buenos dias or buenas tardes. This is the Heart to Heart podcast for Heartful Living. My name is Betty Pastelitos. I am also known as Miss Betty. And for all the parents and teachers out there looking for a fun, simple, easy way to make learning engaging and fun, check out my workbooks, Brillando Books, on Amazon and through my website. Here you'll find workbooks that are created in order to make learning engaging and fun, but also easy for you to implement. See you around. And it wasn't until I was at UM that I started learning acentos. I never knew acentos.
Oh, I know. I still don't. Sorry.
Right?
But yeah.
And so that's when, why was I teaching these Spanish things? So imagine 8-year-olds. Yeah, we're being raised at home with our abuelos and our abuelas, but the writing and the grammar is a whole different ballgame.
Yes.
But when our kids go to school, they're expected to read stuff that I couldn't read, stuff that I couldn't write, that I was like learning with them. I was like, I'm not a Spanish teacher.
Yes.
I could teach you how to speak Spanish, but I'm not a Spanish teacher. So that's when I was like, I wish I had a workbook that did this, 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 and this, and that. And then I was like, wait a minute. And then as I was trying to teach the kids the Spanish, I realized in Spanish Spain, like Spanish literature, there's no sight words and there's no core words. That's an English thing. So and I was like, why isn't there sight words in Spanish? The kids are expected to learn all these vocabulary words, but they don't know how to read estoy and son and somos and él. Like, they don't know how to read those things. So that's mostly what my Spanish workbooks are.
Love it.
Right now is like sight words. Like imagine if you had Spanish sight words, that's what they are right now. And I'm working on the sílabas now. So like then teaching them how to put sílabas together.
That's brilliant.
So I kind of like developed my own Spanish curriculum where like they need to start with like core words, which they know how to say them, but the reading and writing and spelling them, like there's differences between el with an acento and el without the acento.
Sure.
So yeah.
So you self-published.
Yes.
Amazing.
Thank you.
Where can we find your workbooks?
So right now you can find them bound, printed on Amazon under Brillando Books, because there's another Beatriz Williams. But I'm like, hello, and she's also published. But
she's not a Betty Pastelitos.
But she's not Betty Pastelitos. So Brillando Books. And then on my stand store, I have them all where teachers can print and bind them themselves. So you can print the workbooks, make additional copies, and put them together yourself. And that's on my stand store as Miss Betty, MS Betty.
Well, with Betty's permission, we are actually going to put a link to all of this on our Heartful Living website.
Yes.
So that our community can reach out and have access to all of these workbooks, because I think they're fantastic.
Thank you.
And what you said just blew my mind. It's true.
Yes.
It's absolutely true. And that, again, with my son, with the espejuelos anteojos. Like,
yes.
Yes.
Yeah,
exactly.
so I can speak Spanish perfectly, but if you make me read a novel, it's gonna costarme. Like, it's gonna, like, it's not gonna be the same as, like...
Of course.
Yeah.
Well, being the Cubans that we are, being born and raised by our abuelos, I'm sure in your household, you always had 1,000,001 sayings.
Yes.
That have stuck with you.
Yes.
So I thought we'd have a little fun today.
Okay.
And we do literally like Betty.
Okay. Okay, I like that.
Okay, so what we're going to do is I'm going to give you the English translation of El Dicho. And you have to give me the Spanish translation.
Okay.
And if you get the phrase, awesome. But extra credit if you throw in our hand mannerisms.
Okay.
Because, of course, every Cuban talks with their hands.
Okay.
Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. So, number one, like literally, the train is going to catch you.
I don't know that one.
Get out.
¿El tren te va a coger?
Yeah.
I've never said that.
Really?
Yes.
It's hurry up, you're running late.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Te va a coger el tren.
No, I didn't know that one.
Pues mira.
How funny.
Bueno, you always get a new... That one I'll give to you and you can use it whenever. Okay, ready?
Now I'm nervous. I wasn't nervous, but now I am.
Don't be. The rest are good. That's on fire.
¿Tan fuego? ¿Está caliente?
Close.
What?
Eso está en candela.
Oh, tan candela. Yes. Yes.
And that means situation's
Candela,
crazy.
yeah.
Okay.
Or the kid is like, estás en candela.
Estás en candela.
Yeah.
You're in size.
In size?
You're in size.
Why don't I know any of these?
Are you kidding, Betty Pastelitos?
Yes. Yes.
You know this one. It's just...
in size?
See, I was going to give it to you the opposite way. I was going to give it to you the Spanish way, and you would have to tell me what it meant.
This was trickier. You're making my brain work. I like it. I like that.
So, estás en talla. You don't know. Okay, Betty. Estás en talla.
I don't know that.
You look good. Like, you've been working out. You look good.
Stop
You're on
it.
point.
I know, like, estás entera.
I like estás entera.
Oh, my God. I'm so embarrassed right now. Don't revoke my Cuban card.
Okay, ready?
How funny, yeah.
We'll give you more. The running around has started.
El corre, corre.
El corre,
El corre, corre.
Yeah, absolutely.
El corre, corre.
Chaos broke out. Everybody's scrambling.
Yes.
Se
el corre,
formó.
corre. That's me every morning for school. Estamos en el corre, corre.
Bueno, then this one would follow. What do you tell your girls cuando están en el corre, corre? Put in the batteries.
Yeah. Ponte las baterías. Ponte las baterías. Ponte las pilas.
Get it together.
Ponte
Wake
las
up.
pilas.
Ponte las pilas.
Yeah.
Okay, this one, you have to know this one. My half orange.
Media naranja.
Of course.
Never. What
Betty.
part of Cuba was your Because we're Guajiros. My family's from Oriente.
Oh my God. I just realized something. Has my skirt been up the whole time? I gotta edit that out.
Oh my God.
I hope not. Bueno, that one's for the bloopers.
Okay.
Okay. No, yeah, my soulmate, my other half, my media naranja.
Well, I know corazón de melón.
Corazón de melón.
Tú eres mi corazón de melón.
Barriguita llena.
Corazón contento.
Es así. Okay.
Yes.
That egg wants salt.
Yeah, ese huevo quiere sal. I know that one.
What does that mean?
That means like he wants something.
I don't think you're going to know this one.
Tell me. No, tell me.
More face and back.
Más cara que espalda.
Yeah. I didn't know that one either. I will tell you that. I didn't know that one, and it meant you have a lot of nerve.
Okay. Más cara que espalda. Yeah.
See, in my house, it wasn't más cara que espalda. It was uno solamente se tiene que poner colorado una vez.
Okay.
Like, your face will only get red once. You'll only be embarrassed to say it once, but they'll never mess with you again.
I like that.
It doesn't paint anything.
No pinta nada. That one I do know. I was just telling my friend that yesterday about a situation. I was like, ¿y qué pinta él ahí?
They don't belong there.
Yeah.
Right?
¿Qué pinta tú ahí?
Okay. Throw the house out the window.
Yeah, tira la casa.
Por la ventana. And that one is?
That's like
Going all out. So what I love is spare no expense. And what I thought of that one was when we were all in the stage, like a wedding, que tiraste in the quinces. But I have a friend whose dad said, oh, because we just hit the Ay Que Pena fund. And I go, what's the Ay Que Pena fund? He goes, Ay Que Pena, we needed the cafecito cart. Ay Que Pena, we needed the So once you hit the Ay Que Pena fund,
that's it.
Everything's out the window.
That's it.
Yeah.
I like
So
that.
which ones did you grow up with?
Like Estás de Madre.
Estás de madre.
Now, let me think of something that is like...
Más sabe el diablo por viejo que por diablo.
And you know what? Like, not to say anything, but my grandma was like very... like super, one of these super, super fina ones. So she would never say anything that came off as like vulgar. And not that any of these are vulgar.
Yeah.
But my grandma was always very like
proper.
Yeah, the first time that I said a bad word, I remember thinking like, it's just words. Like, but the way she reacted, and I remember my mind being like, and I think it was like cojones or something. But she was so taken aback.
Right.
That I was like, so my grandma was very like dama, like very like, so she would never say anything fina. Like super fina to the max. So my like
cubaneo
came from the lady that was my babysitter growing up.
No.
It wasn't even, I said like child care center at the beginning of our podcast. She just had una casa. She would take care of kids. She wasn't registered. She wasn't like nothing. She had un daycare in la casa, but it wasn't nothing. Like
under the table daycare.
Super under the table. And that's where I learned things like eres una fiera, like una jefe india. Like she used to call me la jefe india, which is
I haven't heard that one.
Well, that was, which is also now like not PC nowadays.
Seriously, right.
But she would call me la jefe india because I was always the one like telling the kids what to do and like making kids do homework at her at-home daycare. And so she was like, pero tú eres una jefe india.
See, in my house, it would have been el jefe de los caballitos.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
El jefe de los caballitos.
My like mannerisms and stuff came from her because at my abuela's house, it was always very like proper, very like super. So my like loquera, like I remember one time when I was little and my brother was behaving bad and I was like, dale leña. So it was like, right. My mom was even like, where did you learn that? So that was, and my mom came older. My mom was a Pedro Pan, and she came when she was like 15. So she was one of the older kids on the plane. And I don't know, they were just like very like Catholic, very like dressed up head to toe. I never saw my grandma en una bata de casa.
No?
Never. My grandma was always vestida. Like, from the time she woke up to the time
perfumada.
Yes, peinada with her mitad de perales brushes. Like,
right.
That was my grandparents.
Yeah.
Something my grandpa always said to me, which isn't a cubaneo phrase, was when I would come into a house and, like, if there was, like, a lot of people and, like, saludando and whatever, and I no lo saludé a él just because I got distracted, my cousins, whatever, he would say, y yo ni huevo frito. Is what he would always say to me, which isn't a thing anybody says, but that's always something he said to me.
And you love it.
And I love it.
Yeah.
So, like, those, like...
So what'd you call your grandparents?
Fita y people.
Ay.
Fita y people.
I love that.
Yeah.
Well, I can't say that I'm gonna award you with the Mima Award,
No, you can't.
but
I'll get the Fita Award.
but we are gonna go ahead and give you the prize because what's better than a prize de una cajita from La Ventanita?
Oh, thank
So,
you.
Pastelitos and croquetas.
Oh, thank you.
And we could have them now if you want.
Yes, I absolutely want them now.
So what's your favorite pastelito?
Queso. A pastelito de queso.
Shoot, you're not going to believe it. It's the only one I didn't get.
Did you get guayaba y queso?
I got guayaba.
Okay.
I got guayaba, but not guayaba queso. And croquetas. I mean, I saw you the other day at Isla Canaria downing the croquetas.
Yes, we were downing the croquetas.
Talk to me about that.
I love, and you know what's funny? The original Isla Canaria,
Yeah.
that people think it's the one on Coral Way, but
It's
the
not.
original one was, I would go walking with my grandparents and how close they lived. And that's where it was like on Fridays that my grandma didn't cook.
Right.
And we would go walking to, oh my God, que ricura.
That's for you and me.
Thank you. We would go walking to the Isla Canaria right here en la 27. Oh,
Yeah.
En un bounty.
And un bounty.
Un bounty.
So we got pastelito guayaba,
Yummy.
de carne, and croquetas.
Oh my God, those croquetas look amazing.
Right?
Que
I'm
rico.
gonna have half.
Yeah, no, I'm
There's
gonna go all the
nothing.
way.
You're going all the way? Okay, go all the way.
My baby had me up all night breastfeeding him.
So you are mama 3, and what are the ages?
12, 4, and 10 months, about to be 11 months.
How's that?
Hard. Hard. 3 is
you're a
hard.
teacher. Mm-hmm. And
3?
tell me, how many kids are in your class? You teach the littles.
Yeah. So my class is only, I say only lightly, but I have 7 kids in my class, but varying abilities. And when I say varying abilities, I mean varying. So I teach at a private school, a private nonprofit, and we have 7 kids, but each kid is on his or her own track. So every day it's 7 lessons, 7 assignments, 7, and not 7 exactly each time, because there's like some kids that can kind of group together.
Right.
But my kids need a lot of support. So if we're doing like a cutting and pasting activity, like I need to be doing a lot of prompting for each one. So it's like, even if they're doing kind of the same similar thing, it's like I have to help with the scissors, the glue, like,
Right.
So it's like, it's only 7, but it's a lot of support for 7 kids.
And you love it.
I wouldn't change it for the world. I wouldn't change it for the whole wide world. I love my students. Some of them, this is my 3rd year with them. We have some new ones to the class, and they came in perfectly. They blend with my other students perfectly. I love each and every one of my students, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Even on the hard days, even when they're driving me crazy, even when they're throwing themselves on the floor just because they don't want to do something and they're smirking because they see me stressed out, like, I wouldn't change it for the world.
And that's what people don't know about you.
Yeah.
And that's why I so badly wanted to go beyond the pastelitos today.
Yeah.
Because what you do is helping make the world a better place.
Thank you.
And
Thank
you
you.
don't get the proper props. The
Yeah.
proper, not props. What's the right word? You don't get the proper credit for it.
Thank you.
You're not just fun and laughs.
Yeah.
Although we
Yeah.
thank you for everything that you do for the laughs.
Yeah. I see a lot of teachers that post content of like what they do during the day and like a day in their life and all those things. And it's like, I can't do those things. Number one, because when my phones are out, they're grabbing it and they're trying to take pictures and they're trying to whatever. And number 2, because I am so like go. Like I don't have time. Sometimes the parents will text me something and I'm like, I'm sorry, I couldn't see my phone.
Yeah.
And besides the fact that we shouldn't have our phones, but like, it's not easy to like stop and like, there's no time in the day where my kids are doing something when they're playing, yes. But there's no time in the day where they're like working independently because I have to be like guiding them so much through it. So yeah, I wish I could do more content of like what I do and like my students and like the kind of, but like when they're doing something simple or whatever, like I'll kind of just like show it just to show the parents too, like what they're doing or whatnot. But my job is very go. Like,
I don't know how you find time for it all.
You're listening to the Heart to Heart podcast with Christy Diaz for Heartful Living, where stories, connection, and intention guide everything we do. Interested in partnering with us? We're always open to collaborations that align with intention, creativity, and community. If you feel your brand is a match, We'd love to connect and explore what we can create together. And now back to listening.
Me either. And now, especially with 3, it's become a lot more challenging. But luckily, I have my husband's support. I do use my planning period a lot to like do my funny in the class stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't sleep a lot, which I don't recommend. Now I'm starting to prioritize that. I'm starting to realize how important sleep is.
How about eating? Are you eating?
Yeah. Oh, that's something I will never pass up. No. Food for me is a non-negotiable.
That's so good.
Yeah. Yes.
Well, we love watching you. We really do. And you crack me up. You really do. Every time you post something, I'm like, she nailed it again. Love it.
Thank you.
How is it? Is it good?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, good. I'm so glad.
Mm-hmm.
That's for you to take home.
Thank
and you don't
you.
have to share it if you don't want to.
Thank you.
So, some closing questions for you, Betty. Looking back at your journey, what's the one message you want parents and teachers to take away?
For parents and teachers, be present. Be present with your kids and be present with your students, especially in the day and age of digital connectedness. And I know from the bottom of my heart, I know how hard it is to keep our kids off the tablets, but just try.
Yeah.
Just try, and 15 minutes makes such a big difference.
Yeah.
15 minutes. And this is coming from somebody whose part-time job is being connected.
Right.
So I get it. My oldest daughter, she's perfect and I love her. But a huge first-time mom mistake that I made was giving her the iPad too early. And I say this with such a grain of salt because I know for some students, especially kids with special needs or sensory needs, I know how important the iPad can be for them. But in this world where everything is moving towards the iPad, like, let's try and get off of it a little bit. Something that's really, really hard for me in my classroom is I have no iPads, no TV in my classroom. No Promethean board. I got it taken out of my classroom. And I was
Did you
like,
really?
Yes. And I was like, they have enough time for that outside of the
Good for you.
classroom. I do have a couple students with feeding problems, like it has to do with sensory.
Sure.
That the only way they'll eat is watching TV, which sucks. So I will support it in that way. So now I have a TV that I roll into the classroom.
At lunch.
And sometimes I forget.
Our old school way of doing it, like on the
Yes,
carrito
yeah.
Wow.
So I roll in a TV every day, but I don't want it in my classroom because then they see it and then that's what they want. So be more present, especially in the car. Sometimes it is crazy and annoying and you want to drive and you're like, shut up.
Yeah.
But in the car, that's another time that I think, especially for drives to school, drives around the community, whatever, that's a good time to connect with your kids because you're not doing anything. Because I know at home we're cooking, we're cleaning, we're running around. We need peace and quiet. We just want to. But the car is a huge time for me that I'm like, they shouldn't have. But I'm not judging parents or saying whatever, but that's such a good time to be present with your kids.
Agreed.
I remember one time telling my daughter, like, we were driving home. She must have been like 10. I was like, take me home. She's like, what do you mean? I was like, how do I get home? From here, how do we get home?
Yes.
I was like, where do I turn? And I was like, we've taken this route for the last 5 years. How do I get home?
Yep. Smart.
Like, look outside and how do we get home? So
I have a cousin in Chicago, and he told me, he goes, I'm going to start taking my son around, and I'm going to have him start figuring out a way to get us home.
Yes, I do that with my daughter.
And my husband goes, that is brilliant.
Yes.
Jason, if you're listening, we're thinking of you. You and Sam, because that idea triggered in our household to do the same.
Yeah.
And we were actually really proud of our kids for knowing how to get home.
She one time when we were supposed to turn right, she told me left, and I went left. And
Did she correct?
A little bit. And I was like, okay, this isn't the usual way that I go about. How do I get home from here?
Smart.
And I told her, I was like, eventually you're going to be driving. And I was like, listen, we live in Miami, which has the easiest grid system. Learn it. And I would show her the signs. I'm like, you see how that says 24th Street? As we go up, what do you notice about the signs? Oh, the numbers are going up sequentially, right? And I was like, we don't live in one of these neighborhoods that it's like like Bird Street, Car Street. Like, no, we have number systems. So I started teaching her.
Although, pobrecita, like if you start throwing La Burr Road, La Coral Way,
Yeah,
and all
no,
those, you're
no.
like, oh my God.
I know.
Yeah.
It is a little bit tricky, but it's easy to learn.
It is.
And it's funny because my daughter, the 4-year-old, now that I say a lot, because I'll tell her, like, when my kids say I'm bored, I tell them one of two things. I say, thank you for letting me know. Just like, oh, thank you for letting me know. As in, like, noted. Like,
Yeah.
And then the other thing I tell them is, I can't wait to see what you're going to come up with. And that's it. That's another message for parents and teachers. Please let your kids be bored. They don't understand how important boredom is.
I'm telling you, you and I are going to have a completely different session if you will come back.
Yes, I will.
And I want to talk about boredom. I want to talk about the changes in curriculum every 17 seconds.
Yes, my last
Get me
video,
so
my
upset.
latest video.
Your last video really resonated.
Yeah.
Because I used to hate in like when my kids were in elementary school, how they would change the textbooks every year. And I'm like, but this is supposed to be building blocks.
Yes.
And when you change a curriculum, you're not throwing off the poor teacher who has to restructure her entire school year and her lesson plans, but you're also throwing a major wrench into the child.
Yeah. Oh, don't read it like that. Don't annotate like this now. Now we annotate like that. Like that. Like,
Yeah. Okay, so that's number one. Here's number two. If you could give one piece of heartful advice to someone navigating their own challenges, whether it's parenting, teaching, identity, mental health, what would it be?
My biggest thing is el tiempo todo calma. Everything is temporary. And my best friend, one time she made me like a canvas that said that el tiempo todo calma. It's from a song that we like. And I remember when I was in the trenches with my first daughter, when I became a single mom, when I was in that, I remember thinking like, I can't wait till I get to the point when I realize why all of this happened to me, because I know I will get there.
Yeah.
And I think I'm there now. It took a while, but I think I'm there now.
Full circle.
Full circle. And everything is temporary. And when you're in it, it doesn't feel like that. Yeah. Like, for example, you know when you have a stuffy nose?
Yeah.
And you're like, I always took for granted the times that I could breathe and I can't wait to breathe again.
Yes.
That's how it is when you're going through an identity shift, a career shift, when you're in a relationship, when you don't know how to get out of something. Like, you will get to that other side.
Yeah.
And believe me when I say this, and this is something that I have to repeat to myself a lot, everything, it sounds cheesy, but everything happens for a reason.
I agree that.
And everything will... One day you'll be somewhere and you'll be like, that didn't happen for me then for XYZ reason.
Mm-hmm.
And as you want to force something, you want to do, like, you're gonna, and you don't realize that.
Yeah, I agree.
It's for a reason.
100%. Another one of these sayings that my grandma used to tell me, and that's the one that has stuck with me the most since she passed, is la vida da muchas vueltas.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Muchas vueltas, and you will come back to that point of like
100%.
Okay, this is why that happened,
and this is why. And it's almost, for those that think about it in a different way, it's like a deja vu moment.
Yeah,
like, this is what led me to this. Okay.
Yes.
And whatever higher power of be you believe in, you're like, okay, this is why you did this.
This is why you did this,
and now I get
why that
it.
happened.
Yeah, I'm a full believer in that.
Yeah.
So what's next for you? What are you dreaming and building next?
So I started a YouTube channel a few years ago for kids.
Okay.
But I had to stop that when I went back into the classroom. But some videos are edited already. I just have to add a couple touches, and I will be putting them up. It is a bilingual. And just, for the kids that hear English and Spanish together all day long. So that's my next
chapter.
Yes.
Well, I know how badly you wanted to be the girl on the comfy couch. So I came up with the name of your show.
What?
Betty on the Pim Pam Poom.
Betty en el Pim Pam Poom. I love that, yes. El Pim Pam Poom, yes. See, that's a Cuban one that I know I earned my pastelitos.
You earned the whole box, girl.
Thank you.
You own the whole box. And I just want to thank you for making everybody in Miami smile and laugh and beyond Miami, because us Cuban girls, we're everywhere.
And I support the girls in Denver and Chicago and everywhere. And I hope I could be like you guys one day and live somewhere else just to try it.
Do it.
Yeah.
No tengas miedo.
Yeah.
My mental health took a very big dip when I ended up in Colorado during COVID for those 18 months that I lived there. And you know what? Best thing I ever did.
Was go to Colorado?
Took me way out of my comfort zone. We lived there during COVID. When Miami became an epicenter, we said,
Yeah.
my husband goes, you're not going back to Miami.
Yeah.
Your mental health has taken a turn. The kids need to be in a classroom. There's no way you can continue teaching them at home. God bless everybody. And I say this every day, everybody in a classroom, because all of us that did it during the pandemic know that it is a vocation.
Yes.
We know it. And it, best thing it ever did. So I really hope that I hear in the next 5 to 10 years that you and your husband took off and you're getting your PhD somewhere out
Yes,
there.
I will be.
Let us
Thank
know.
you. Thank you.
Well, that's all the time we have for today. I want to thank once again, Betty for being here with us. And the next time you see her, do not call her Betty Pastelitos. Call her Betty Williams, because this woman's a
you.
star and she's
Thank
doing
you.
wonderful things in our community. Betty, thank you.
No, thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.